In Chapter 4, we're going to be talking about the unit circle. The unit circle is a circle placed on the coordinate plane with a radius of 1. So that's why I've labeled these points 1, 0, -1, 0, 0, 1, and 0, -1. We're going to be doing turns or rotations on the unit circle, and we're always going to start at 1, 0. When we turn this direction, which is counterclockwise, it's going to be a positive turn. When we start at 1, 0 and we turn this direction, which is clockwise, it's going to be a negative turn. There are two ways that we can measure the angles of our turn. One is in degrees and one is in radians. First, we'll talk about degrees. So if I want to turn 90 degrees, that means I want to start here and turn counterclockwise and end up here. If I want to turn -45 degrees, that means I'm going to start here and end up here. There are 360 degrees in a full rotation because there are 360 degrees in a circle. Now, radians is an alternative way to measure angles. It's going to be used a lot in calculus and in precalculus. And in radians, for the unit circle, we can think of the circumference of the circle. If you remember from geometry, the circumference of a circle is 2 pi r. And with a unit circle, the radius is 1. So the circumference of our circle is 2 pi. And that is also going to be the radian measure for a turn around the circle. So if I start here and I make one complete turn around the circumference of a circle and end up here, I've gone 360 degrees or 2 pi radians because of the circumference. So this is a very important fact that 2 pi radians is equal to 360 degrees. And I don't have to write the word radians. If I just write 2 pi, it's understood that we're in radians. So 2 pi radians equals 360 degrees. Now, cut both of these in half, and you get pi radians is equal to 180 degrees. And this is probably the most important thing you're going to need to know as we're converting between radians and degrees. So for example, looking at our notes, just to summarize here, positive angles are generated by a counterclockwise rotation. Negative angles are generated by a clockwise rotation. An angle is called a quadrantal angle if its terminal side lies on the x-axis or y-axis. So what that means is if you make a turn, this is the initial side, and then however far you turn, if you end up on an axis and not somewhere else in the middle, it's going to be a quadrantal angle. Radian measure, as we've already mentioned, 1 radian is the measure of the central angle of a circle that intercepts an arc equal in length to the radius of the circle. So for our unit circle, it was 2 pi, but not every circle is a unit circle. So for example, in example 1, a central angle theta in a circle of radius 12 feet intercepts an arc length of 42 feet. What is the radian measure of theta? In other words, the angle. So you're going to take the length of the intercepted arc and you're going to divide by the length of the radius. So it's as simple as just taking 42 feet, the length of the intercepted arc divided by the radius of the circle, and you get 3.5 radians.